You guys ever heard of war criminals? Pretty bad people. Anyway, let's talk about MrBeast. So if you guys haven't saw that dude that used to work for MrBeast uploaded a second video. You guys saw his first video talking about, all the fraud allegations, all that stuff. Everybody's talked about it. If you even know the existence of MrBeast, you know about all these, allegations going on against him, right? But this second video is so crazy. It's insane that I had to make a video about this. I mean, Beast is evil, okay? Bro reminds me of Homelander, the things he's doing. And I'll be explaining all of the sins MrBeast has committed. Make sure you guys check out that video, by the way, the part 2. If you guys want to see like a full in-depth explanation, because, what I'm talking about is kind of my own opinion and then kind of skimming through a lot of it. So check out that real video. I'll link it in the description because it's got all the juicy details. But I'm going to be talking about a little bit more than that. The video mainly just covers kind of the employee's perspective, but I'm also going to be talking about a lot of the audience perspective and a lot of new interesting things that came out after the video came out. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is something really, really bad, okay? This is honestly like so insane that this man actually went ahead and did that. MrBeast hired a SEX offender. A registered SEX offender, you guys. What? This guy that we're talking about got put on the registered SEX offender because he had been accused of doing bad stuff by a 16-year-old when she was 11, okay? When she was 11 years old, this man was doing bad stuff to her, okay? And you know what I mean when I'm saying bad stuff, all right? I don't need to explain that to you. He took a plea deal from this, by the way. We know all this because this guy was Jake the Viking's brother-in-law. If you guys remember Jake the Viking, he used to work for MrBeast, and so he kind of told the whole story about it, so we know all these stuff for sure, right? So he took a plea deal for this, which is why he didn't end up going to jail, but still had to get registered. So he does that, and he did that when he was 21. And MrBeast decides to hire this guy on a channel with, I'd say, 80% of the viewers being young kids, okay? It's targeted to young kids. You definitely see a lot of young kids on camera, whenever he does videos. He's usually got some kids being like, "Thank you, MrBeast, you saved my life," stuff like that, right? And we know all that's fake, too. So these guys are actors. They're on set. And this just predators on set that you hired? And for people being like, oh, maybe Jimmy didn't know, anything like that. No. Okay, first of all, along with being registered on the offender list, okay, which is something you see when you're hiring somebody and you have to be like, yeah, I'm on this list before you can hire anybody. He sat down with Jimmy and his mom and explained to them the situation. Like, Beast, why would you hire this guy? You know what I mean? There's so many other candidates. There's plenty of people who want to be in a MrBeast video who are not on the registered offender list, and you're going to hire this guy? Like, Beast, you're not thinking up here, bro? Why would you? This is just like a bad idea, all around. You know what I mean? It's not even like he's got the skills we need. It just so happens he's a predator. He's just like anybody else. You could have hired anybody else. It just seems so weird. Beast, what is wrong with you? Let's talk about MrBeast employees. This guy's a company now, right? He has employees, he hires people, and he happened to hire a writer, and he also happened to hire this guy. All right, quick error here. So this guy's name is actually Jake, but I refer to him as Dogpack, the one who made the video. So anytime I'm talking about Dogpack, I'm actually talking about Jake, the guy in that photo. So sorry about that. He explained that he was getting paid pretty bad for all the work that he was doing in the company. And along with that, he found out that there was a writer for MrBeast, the one writing the videos, getting paid less than him, which is really bad because the writer is an important person in MrBeast's video. Without the writer, you're not gonna have a very good video. You know what I mean? And so it's if this guy doing all this work is getting paid less than me, Dogpack felt kind of bad about this and decided he wanted to talk to some higher ups at the MrBeast company and say, guys, me and him deserve to have a pay raise. Oh, and on top of that, this writer had a wife and kid, you know what I mean? And he was getting paid less than Dogpack. So Dogpack felt bad about this. He's like, you have a whole family and Beast is not paying you guys right. He's not doing anything right for you. But he said, you know what? I'm going to go talk to them for us and I'll try to get you a job, right?
And I said at my piece, and he backed me up. And I said, I need XYZ or I'm out of here. And they said, bet. And they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance check the next day. And if I knew he was going to lose his job too, I wouldn't have done it.
How insane is that? That's just pure corporate evil. You know what I mean? Beast, what happened to helping people out, man? Like, this guy's got a family, he's got a kid, he's working for you as your writer, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna fire him because somebody else was saying he should get paid more? He didn't have anything to do with it, you know what I mean? He is just along there. He just feels good that somebody's defending him. And it's like, apparently a lot of the people in MrBeast's company just aren't paid well and aren't treated right, you know what I mean? Like, he is not somebody who's very good at being a company man, you know what I mean? And I don't know if this is MrBeast's fault or the people he's hired around him or just the fact that it's some random YouTuber, you know what I mean? Just like some random guy YouTuber deciding to make a business. Like, he obviously has no idea what's going on, you know what I mean? But based on what we've been hearing about his company, it seems like this guy's more like the traditional cartoonishly villainous company, you know, ruler, you know what I mean? Like the big boss, you know, who if you look at strangely, you're going to get fired immediately. And by fired, I mean like thrown out the window. You know, you seen those cartoons? That's basically how I feel like MrBeast's company works. Is he's sitting at the top and everybody's around him. If anybody says anything dumb, whoosh, thrown out the window. So Dogpack was fired, you know, bad conditions. It's probably best to get out of there. MrBeast then asks to bring him back after firing him and offering him a handsome payment to do a 100 days in confinement challenge. And during this challenge, MrBeast technically broke the Geneva Conventions. I know, saying that's pretty crazy, but let me explain why. So MrBeast put Dogpack in this 100-day, you know, confinement. Basically, he has like food to survive for 100 days. He's doing all this stuff. He's just basically confined in a room for those 100 days, okay? But the conditions were absolutely awful. I mean, he describes things like his bathtub not having filtration, so about a bunch of smells come out, and like things just being dirty and nothing really being taken care of properly for him to like actually survive all 100 days in there. Like, it was getting really bad, you know what I mean? And it was like real torture for him. He really felt tortured. And he also had to, you know, be a person on camera. And it's like, yeah, you know, he could just leave and try to say, you know, I'm done with it. But, you know, they'd cause more trouble. This is Beast talking about setting up maybe a $2 million video. Like, the setup cost alone would be crazy. And if he quit, they'd have to do the whole thing over again. You know what I mean? And he's also, you know, shaking in front of him some life-changing money for this guy. You know what I mean? Like, this would change his life. And all you have to do is play monkey for a little bit with me. And so he ends up deciding to do it. At one point, MrBeast asked him to do a marathon run on the treadmill, and he felt really pressured to say yes. Like, he felt like he couldn't say no in that situation, which to some of us, you know, it might seem like, just say no. You know, what are you thinking? Like, just say no. But we're not in that position. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things going through your head, a lot of people around you. You know, you're thinking about a lot of different things, and this money's always in the back of your head. Like, maybe if I just get through this, I can finally, you know, have this enough money. This money will change my entire life. I just have to get tortured a little bit by MrBeast. At some point, he's trying to sleep, and they won't turn off the lights. And he keeps asking, guys, turn off the lights. I want to sleep now. I want to sleep. And they won't. And that's actually war crime, is sleep deprivation, forcing sleep deprivation on a person by basically, you know, not turning the lights off, not giving them a way to sleep. It's actually as you're breaking the Geneva Conventions. So it's pretty interesting that Beast decided to go ahead and do that. Now, Beast is not actually a war criminal. Let's just be, you know, it's just a kind of a joke, but he is committing a really bad crime in that situation. And eventually, Dogpack he can't handle it anymore. He calls it off finally after, you know, I'm not sure how many days he stayed in there, but he just couldn't handle it anymore. And they finally let him out after a while. Apparently, it was kind of difficult for them to fully accept him fine. Like, all right, get him out. You know what I mean?
And they didn't let me leave right away either. They wanted to make sure, yeah, everything was fine. So I just, you know, slept for a while. They turned the lights off. And it's like they brought in all my friends, you know, to make it. They brought in all the people I liked. And Jimmy.
So interestingly, after all that happened, silence from MrBeast, okay? This video got up. Everybody's talking about it. Beast, you know, you're psychologically torturing your contestants. You're faking videos. You know, your system is awful. Your company is causing trouble. It's hurting people. You hired a SEX offender. You know, all these crazy stuff, right? So MrBeast didn't say anything, but his company sent an email out to all the current workers of the MrBeast community, basically talking about future changes. And guess what? In this email, they talk about finally getting an HR department. You're telling me after all these years of MrBeast coming out with this, him having this huge company, this big business, during that time, he never had an HR department? He just hired an HR manager now? What? You go start working at like Walmart. They're going to show you all these things. You're going to go to training. They got an HR department. They got all these things, okay? Beast's company, the big time MrBeast, doesn't have any of these stuff. Like, of course, all this crazy misconduct was happening in the company. Like, obviously, there's no HR to report to. Along with these emails getting come out after the video, do you guys remember Rosanna Pansino? I'm sure you do. She made all the like all the videos where she was making cookies and cakes and stuff. Well, she worked with MrBeast during a project. I forget the name of it. But anyway, she's been actually going on kind of a big rant talking about all these secret things that she found out during the time of working with MrBeast that she was too afraid to talk about and come out with person. But now that everybody's, talking about it and defending her and like talking about like, yeah, MrBeast, he's not doing bad stuff, she can finally talk about it without people, putting her all the way down. And get this, she said MrBeast is now hiring people around her to talk bad about her. So he says all her points and everything she's been saying is put down once again. Apparently, people close to MrBeast have been telling her and giving her information that he's been sending out people to investigate those speaking up against him, basically find a way to get rid of them. Like, bro's actually a supervillain, you know what I mean? Like, bro's actually insane like that. And she has confirmation that several people have been offered money to fabricate stories about her and basically talk bad about her. Like, what is wrong with you, MrBeast? You know what I mean? Like, you're crazy, man. You're insane. And they've been harassing her friends, trying to make sure that they get some stuff out of it. Because Rosanna Pansino is honestly one of the biggest YouTubers to be talking bad about MrBeast. Let's just be honest here. These guys like Dogpack and them, they aren't like huge YouTubers that are like known or anything. Obviously their videos are getting a lot of views, but as a like person, as a figure, as a titan of YouTube, they aren't really known or anything like that. But these videos are. But she is a known figure. Like people know, people subscribe to her, and she's talking about all this stuff. Like it looks bad for MrBeast. You know what I mean? She's been keeping receipts. She's been doing all that. So like it's pretty realistic. This is not something that she's like making up out of nowhere. She's fabricating. Like these seem pretty realistic about like she wouldn't be lying about this stuff, especially considering again she could get sued for defamation if he was ever lying about this stuff. So she's very confident, and she says she has receipts about all these things happening. Guys, listen up, right? Don't watch MrBeast anymore. He doesn't deserve it. Until he finally says something, he brings irrefutable evidence that what he's doing has not been correct, that everybody's been lying about him, that he has proof that all these things are fake and all this stuff, you know what I mean? Like, he's a good person. Until he brings that out, until he makes an apology, until he says anything about this to the public, do not watch MrBeast. This guy's a bad guy, all right? He's just not a good person, and the more money you give him, the more power he gets until he becomes the super villain, you know what I mean? Like Lex Luthor kind of villain, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, guys, that's my video. I'm tired of talking. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. And I hope you enjoyed this one, and hopefully my next video, I won't be talking about YouTube drama, because this is kind of getting old. I'm probably going to talk about something else. So yeah, see ya.